Welcome to Estonian Business School Inspiration Talks. My name is Anto Liivat and I'm head of bachelor's and specialized master's programs at EBS. Today I'm privileged to welcome Triin Sander, alumna from 2012 who graduated the program of International Business Administration. Once again, so happy to see you here, Triin. You're currently in London working for Ericsson Corporation and passionate about supply chain management. However, back here at Estonian Business School, your main focus was rather marketing. So how did this big shift actually happen?
To be perfectly honest, I think that the bit about marketing was in the final years, it was quite small, to be perfectly honest. So I don't think it was the main focus. The main focus, as I think of it now, would have been international business. How do we conduct business? The first 2 years really, both the marketing and the finance people have very similar courses. And the ones that were slightly different were things to do with sociology and human behavior and things like that everybody can benefit really. Marketing at the time, back in the day, was a very popular area, and it seemed really cool and hip and trendy. So I think I leaned more towards that than I did finance. Maths was never my favorite topic by far, even though I studied in the Tallinn Science School. But yeah, so marketing seemed like a real fun and interesting area.
12 years ago, if there was anyone telling you that for the next 12 years, Triin is going to work for one company only, would that have been anyhow threatening for you, or you've been always dreaming about stable corporate career?
I don't think anybody really, I mean, not anybody, but I don't think I knew, but I wasn't intimidated by that fact. The first ever interview I had with my manager at the time, before I joined Ericsson, he warned me and he told me, after the interview, he says, you sound like a really ambitious person, and this job that you're applying for is going to be really boring for you in no time. And I told him, I said, I'm completely okay with that, because I had a 2-year-old daughter at the time who was starting kindergarten. And I said, do you know what? This is exactly what I need. I need to be able to have a job that has potential for me to grow. But at this moment in time, I'm happy to have a job where I can close the door and go home and do other things. So yeah, I wasn't intimidated by the fact, but my mum was working for the same company for a long extended period of time, and I did see the potential within that company as well.
What's there on your professional table currently? You serve as a category lead, if I've understood that right. What does it actually mean being a category lead in a corporate organization such as Ericsson? How do your work days usually look like?
So I work globally. So Ericsson has lots of different supply hubs and distribution centers across the world. We operate in most countries in the world. And so we have a global supply chain, and there are, it's actually quite interesting because I went through an internal meeting where we had to all explain, if we had to explain what we do to our family members. So I think I had a rehearsal beforehand. So there are products that we make, and then there's products that we buy. I'm responsible for the area where we buy products from our external suppliers, and that either have been made by them according to our instructions or are more standard products than that. And I focus on a narrower category of energy products and storage, as well as transmission microwave antennas. So these little round boxes you see on top of towers, or like these masts when you drive around. I'm responsible for making sure that all of our supply hubs are well served by our suppliers through these from our suppliers so that they perform according to our contractual terms and conditions. So it's a very challenging job, but interesting at the same time.
Was there anything special in Estonian Business School's program which you now understand enable you to prepare yourself for such kind of a job you are currently doing?
Maybe if I go back a little bit, and I remember my first ever alumni event for my high school, which was Tallinn Technical School, and all of my co-students at the time went to learn in Tartu and in Tallinn Technical University to become doctors and lawyers and scientists. And then when I went back the first alumni event and they said, "Oh, you went to Estonian Business School," they say, "What happened?" And so what is it that you do? You international business. So what are you going to do international business afterwards, or what does this mean? And I think the joke's on everybody else now, because I really genuinely couldn't be more international in the way that I do. My manager's in China, my colleagues are in the US, in Brazil, in Mexico, in Sweden. So all over the world. And before I had this particular role, I was in the UK managing a team of 14 different nationalities. So I think that both the curriculum as well as the environment in EBS enabled me to at least give me a glimpse of what I was up against, which I didn't know at the time, of course. I didn't think I was going to do international business to that degree, but definitely having come, having had the exposure to different nationalities, because of course in the BBA English version you get Erasmus students changing, the people that you're with change every 3 months. Every term you have another group of people from different countries. And in fact, I think there was only a handful of Estonians. The rest of them just changed. And then, of course, the Erasmus exchange to Bocconi was also one of the real kind of experiences that I value very highly.
Most of your meetings are taking place in online, I assume. Do you work from distance only? Do you go to the office or you stay at home for the most of the days? Is there any flexibility, or is that really kind of a strict corporate policy when and where you need to be physically present?
So currently, everybody and most companies are inviting people back to the office to say better brainstorming happens face to face. It's encouraged, and definitely something that Ericsson is also promoting. However, I was home-based already before COVID happened. I was working remotely. In fact, all of my career in Ericsson, I've worked with people who are not next to me, except for a very short period of time when I moved to the UK first and I had a team there, so it was more face-to-face. But currently, I'm not actually in London, Anto, just to say that I'm actually right in the middle of the UK, in the middle of fields. I've got cows behind me in a field, and sheep, and a little cute village. So I work from home every day. And then occasionally I do have to go to Sweden, which is where our main office is.
I just read the research results from Australia addressing the fact that self-employed people usually have much lower satisfaction with their lives compared to those having a corporate career. However, the main reason for this was their inability to switch off, especially if they are working from home. You pretty much do the same. So how are you able to balance your work and so-called family duties, if I may say so? Yeah.
I've thought about this long and hard, and I think most people only really got the bigger glimpse of it during COVID times. But like I say, I've worked from home before COVID already full time, and I do that continuously now. And I think work and life balance is a fallacy, and I think we should just abolish that concept altogether. And balance kind of tells you that you should have a 50-50 approach. While in actual fact, there's a great, fantastic book written by Rebecca Davies Anderton, who is a real girl boss investment banker in Goldman Sachs, and she wrote this book about shifting the dials. So we will acknowledge the fact that if there's 100% of you and you need to distribute yourself between work and social life and other commitments, etc., then there are times when you need to give 70% or 70% of your time, your effort, your energy, your brain space is occupied by your work, and you need to give all that and you're happy with that. Then other things need to give. But there are other periods in your life, whether it's months or years, where your focus is more on home life, kids, children, and so and so. But that doesn't mean a no for the other thing. It just means maybe later. And I think that is a much more healthy approach. That being said, I live in the middle of the countryside, so I go on long walks. I've got a dog. I've regularly done yoga for 15 years, which is something that keeps me physically occupied, so my brain can't do anything else. But and I also think that working in an industry and at a job that you're passionate about is also helpful, because if you hate your job, then however much you balance it, you're still going to be miserable. So yeah, balance out the door, integration, shifting the dials, giving what you need to which area of your life at this moment in time, and being accepting that sometimes, you know, it was last night, I was on a meeting at 9:30, 10 o'clock with the Americas. And then 7 o'clock then this morning, it's with Chinese. But I know that I've got some time in the middle of the day where I'm going to do some yoga or I'm going to go for a walk, and that's fine with me.
Besides enjoying your work and family life, is there anything you are dreaming about right now?
Oh, I was just back from holiday from Ibiza, and I came back and I thought, I should really just jack it all in. I really enjoyed being on holiday. I wish they would pay me for just being on holiday. And then I was like, well, can't quite do that. I'm actually genuinely really content where I am in terms of my professional life and my family life and my home life and what the work enables me to do. So no big hopes and dreams, unfortunately.
So you haven't set yourself a very specific professional goals or targets to be tackled, right?
And I haven't done so because the industry I work with and the company I work in is in constant change and movement, and at a really extremely rapid pace. In fact, the job that I have today didn't exist before I got it 3 years ago. So I expect to move in a few years' time, but that job that I'm going to probably doesn't exist today yet.
I was planning to ask the final question, what do you think you need to learn more? So let me rephrase it now. Is there anything you would like to learn more? Maybe just for yourself, not so much for the professional goals or the new jobs admired?
I actually do think that even professionally, there is things that we all need to learn all the time. But specifically now, it's the race against AI, and it's the race against understanding all that data that we have. And it's not just for the number crunchers, it's the normal people here and now that need to understand that they need to stay relevant. Otherwise, the companies and the competition will make you irrelevant very quickly. And I also see, as a no joke, the commitment and the dedication that our Asian colleagues have over the young people today in European, in Western countries is that unless we find some sort of a way to motivate our young generation, the Asian young generation is much more qualified already today for everything that we do. So it's having that interest and dedication and determination to keep continuously studying things that are relevant today, like data analytics, like AI, how to use AI, and how can that make us better? Because in a lot of cases, AI will and has already made some job roles redundant. In fact, the job that I started in Ericsson no longer exists because it's been done by robots. So the younger generation will find it more and more hard, and they have to be more qualified in their starting careers than we were at the time.
You're now beautifully settled in UK. By the way, how often do you visit Estonia?
I do, a couple of times per year. I think my family, if they were listening, they'd say that's wrong. There was a few years where I didn't at all. And I just sent my daughter over for her holidays, and then I traveled elsewhere. And I find this nice balance now where I can go to Estonia, enjoy that, and then come back and also have that time to travel elsewhere. So at least once, if not twice.
Thank you so much, Triin Sander, our alumna from the class 2012. We are always happy to host you here in your alma mater, whatever your wishes to be part of our community would be related to. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining our Inspiration Talk session. Stay tuned, there's more to come.